Today we will be continuing to look at a scenario where the Dutch Empire wins WW4. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and also leave any feedback in the comments. Firstly, we look to Africa, where the gold team will launch an offensive into Tanzania, the red team, the yellow country and the light blue country. Next is Iberia, where the Triangle Alliance will launch a huge offensive that pushes out the West Africans and Andalusians from their territory and make great advancements into western and southern Iberia. Next we see the Mesopotamian Alliance seeing brilliant success against the Libyans, taking multiple major Sittites and even taking a major Sittites and the gold team Egyptian puppet. Staying in Libya, we see the Greeks make a landing with the help of the Italian Union and Dutch Navy. With this, the Diamond Alliance also makes great gains into Libya and the Egyptian puppet. Going back to the South African front, we see the gold team having brilliant success. They capitulate the Tanzanians, almost fully invade the yellow country and start invading the pink country. Next we go to North Africa, where a large amount of Moroccan troops arrive from Iberia, so both the Diamond and the Triangle Alliance will get pushed out/pushed back. However, the decision of the Moroccans will have great consequences, as the combination of Green French, Catalonian and Dutch team forces will fully kick out the Parallelogram Alliance out of Iberia, knocking the Andalusians out of the war. Now we look towards the South African front, where the gold team and its allies will do very well against the South African Alliance. They fully capture the red team, the yellow country, and make astonishingly good advancements against the rest of the alliance. Here we look at the religion map. The genocide of the gold team continues in all of the territories they occupy, completely eradicating the religious presence of every religion besides the one of the light pink religion. With the help of their biological and chemical weapons, it doesn't take long. These events match those of the Holocaust, if not worse. India will see the events that take place in the gold team and call a meeting with the League of Freedom. They discuss the genocide and the horrible actions committed, and they decide they must join the war. Therefore, the League of Freedom declares war on the Parallelogram Alliance in the name of freeing Africa from its clutches. Quickly we see more countries joining the League of Freedom, such as Vietnam joins, Persia joins. Surprisingly, Rome joins. Norway, Finland and the light blue Scandinavian country join. The brown Siberian country joins. And lastly, we see blue Australia joining the League of Freedom. The South Africans, fueled with rage from the atrocities the gold team commit, launches an offensive into Tanzania, retaking their capital and marching upwards. This is named the March Against Fascism. With the arrival of Indian and Chinese troops to the African front, the Diamond Alliance will do extremely well, taking multiple major cities and pushing back the Libyans to a worrying point for Tem. Now we turn back to the South African front, where the gold team continue to do very well, knocking out more countries from the war. Now we go to Morocco, where a huge naval logistical error causes the Triangle Alliance to have full naval dominance of the Western Mediterranean, and 2 naval landings are conducted in Morocco. In the South African front, the arrival of blue Australian, Vietnamese and Indian troops leads to the gold team getting pushed back quite a bit, and the war could be turning around in the South African theater. In Egypt, the Diamond Alliance will see a lot of Suses. They get extremely close to Libya's capital and they manage to fully invade and capitulate the gold team's puppet. In Morocco and Libya, there have been a lot of protests and riots across the one Carthage lands. Eventually these riots will lead to the rebellion of Carthage. The Carthage revolt will push into Libyan and Moroccan territory, reclaiming their old lands. The Triangle team and Carthage will do very well in North Africa, taking a large amount of the Moroccan coast. Things will get even worse for Morocco as the Americans, with the help of the Mexicans, make a landing in the country, which goes extremely successful. The Diamond Alliance and the Carthage rebellion will work together in order to finish off Libya. This mission will be a success and Libya will be the first fascist African nation to fall. With the help of the Arabian Navy, the Indians manage to make a landing on the tip of the Horn of Africa. Now we see the collapse of Morocco. They can't keep up with fighting the Americans, the Triangle Alliance and the Carthage rebels. Going back to the South African front, where the gold team's success will be turned around as the heavy arrival of Indian, Chinese, blue Australian and Vietnamese troops start arriving in bigger numbers, and the gold team's military is getting exhausted. Now it seems to be over for the gold team. Their ally, the purple team, will fall, and more invasion of their nation leads to the mostly collapse of the gold team's military, and then the collapse of their nation. However, before the peace treaty can take place, in Morocco a small and probably accidental skirmish taking place between Green French and American forces near a major city. The Green French seize control of city, and the League of Freedom sees this as an act of war by the fascist powers, not believing this to be accidental. The first of the fighting against the Dutch Empire begins in Norway, where they push into lands that was before they lost World War IV. American troops will push into what was Morocco, taking 2 major cities, while Carthage quickly uses the war to take the small Dutch occupation area in Africa, and Rome starts a small invasion of their once Italian territory. The once Roman territory is tired of living under fascist rule, so in some places the Romans are met with open arms and revolts start to happen in the Italian Union. In Ireland, the country of Hibernia rises up against their fascist occupier. They cooperate in 3 major cities where their support is strongest, but all over Ireland there are intense riots. To make things even worse for the Triangle Alliance, the Diamond Alliance will take a vote to join the war and destroy fascism in Europe. The vote will go through with a yes, and the Diamond Alliance joins the war on the side of the League of Freedom. The Diamond Alliance by now has recalled their African forces, and with some new fresh troops they launch an invasion of Greek-controlled Anatolia. In the Moroccan front, the combined Carthage and American forces will push back the surprised and unprepared Green French forces all the way out of Africa, and now all of Iberia is under threat of naval invasion. The Irish movement will gain a lot of support and popularity, leading to the island basically falling to the rebellion group in a matter of weeks after its formation. Similar uprisings are starting to be seen all over Dutch-controlled Britain. On the Italian front, we see what once was the 3rd strongest country on the world getting absolutely blasted by a combination of Dutch and EU forces. On the Norwegian front, the Dutch will be able to do very good in pushing back all invading forces and nearly capturing both the capital of Norway and the light blue country. The American Navy will be able to outclass the navy of the Dutch and French. Due to this, multiple landings across Iberia are made. The northern and neutral landings will fail, leading to a lot of deaths on both sides. However, the southern landings will do well and a front is established. In England, rebels will rise up just like what happened in Ireland. The Irish, with the help of the American Navy, will make multiple landings. Scotland will join the war against the Dutch. Due to all of this, the Dutch will be completely pushed out of Britain. The League of Freedom will see Italy as a good opportunity to break into Europe. They launch an invasion into occupied territory and capturing over half of the Italian Union's land, almost capturing their capital. The Greeks will launch a counter-offensive against the forces of the Diamond Alliance, almost fully pushing both invading countries out of their territory. The Greeks also gain a surprising good amount of naval supremacy. In Scandinavia, the Norwegians are forced to surrender and the light blue country starts falling apart. The only reason they are fighting is due to the Finnish military, which is also heavily occupied on the front near St. Petersburg. That is going to do it for today's episode of What If the Dutch Won WW4. As I said in the start, make sure to like and subscribe and leave some feedback or suggestions of what you want me to do.